Hi, today I'm going to show you how to open up, disconnect, and remove a NuTone model 2067-2068 master station. And this is by far one of the easiest, simplest, most straightforward sets to remove that NuTone ever made. There are a couple things you have to know about it before we get started. One, all you're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver. You don't need anything more than that. Two, you have to know that when you remove the two screws that hold it to the wall housing, one of them here on the left and one of them here on the right, there is virtually nothing that holds the set to the wall. There's no brackets or hinges on the bottom, there's no clips, there's no support straps, there's nothing. So when you take the screws out, if you're not ready for it and you're not paying attention, the set could easily fall out of the wall and end up down on the floor. And you don't want that to happen. So you have to know that to get started. The other thing which you have to know about is it has to do with the plastic faceplate. In this particular case, it's got the colonial copper or brown faceplate. There is also a version with an eggshell faceplate. The plastic that they use to make the faceplates is the world's most brittle plastic that you have ever seen. If you bang it, if you drop it, if it crashes into something, chances are you're going to break a big old chunk out of the edge of the faceplate. Think of it like your grandma's very finest fine china. If you bang it on the counter or bang it into a kitchen cabinet opening or something like that, or heaven forbid you drop it, it's going to break. And this is the same way. It's very, very, very brittle. This example happens to be a complete, very nice unit. No breaks on the faceplate, but that's very rare. So let's go ahead and get started. As I said, there's two screws that hold it to the wall, one here and one here. And all you basically have to do is unscrew the screws. These are Phillips screws, and you should absolutely positively never use a cordless drill or cordless screwdriver to do this, because one, you risk stripping out the heads of the screws, and two, when you put it back in, you run the risk of over tightening and cracking the plastic where the screw heads hold the set against the wall, and then you won't be able to tighten it down. So you only ever do it with a Phillips screwdriver by hand. So I've got the left one out and I'm holding it against the wall, and we'll finish taking the right one out, and we'll take those out. And now the set just slides forward slightly and down off the wall. You're almost done. Now it's a little hard to see at this point, and I'm going to have a hard time moving the camera, so I'm going to do this shot more than once. But up here, I'm going to see if I can lower this down. There's a cord with a plug right here, and we're going to unplug that. That's the power connection. And then if you tip it down carefully, there's another plug right down here, which we're going to unplug. Now, I know that you really couldn't see that, so I'm going to do it again and show you. But once you unplug the power socket and the other connector, the set's loose and free, and you're done. It's that simple. So let me reset this, and then I'm going to show it from a different angle. All right, so I've reset it. So let me show you the two things we're looking at. I have the set propped up on a box because the cables are short, and it wasn't really designed to do this and do a video at the same time. So play along with me just a little bit. So right here, you can see the screwdriver. This is the power socket. It's here in the wall housing. This stays, and here's the plug that's plugged into it. It has a short cord on it that goes down into the chassis of the unit. The cord is only about 5 or 6 inches long. In infinite NuTone fashion, they could have made it longer. It would have been easier, but they didn't. So that's one that we care about. And the other one is this white connector, this rectangular connector down here with a bunch of wires in it. So when you take the two screws out and you slide it away from the wall, you have to unplug the power connector here and this connector right there. And that's all you have to do. So let's do this one first, so then I can move the set around. It might be easier for you to see. All you have to do, there's a bunch of wires coming out of it. There's a green and a black and a red and a black, and in this case the flat twin lead antenna wire, and they're all connected into the socket. And all you do is grab the socket with your fingers and wiggle it, and it unplugs just like that. Very simple. It's designed so it only plugs in one way. It has little index tabs on it. You cannot plug it in upside down. It won't fit. It only can go one way. Once we've done that, I'll swing this out of the way. So here's our cord right here, a little hard to see, and the plug, and this unplugs from the socket like that. That's all there is to it. Now the set is loose and you're almost done. Once you've got the set out of the wall and you very carefully walked it over and put it on a towel on your kitchen table, because remember, the plastic faceplate, very, very brittle. If you drop it on the floor, you're going to break it. You've been warned. Now, you do have the 2 screws that we took out that held the unit to the wall. What do you do with these? You put these back in the little clips right here and here where they came out of in the first place. The number one phone call I get from customers who we have repaired their master stations is, gee, do you have any of those mounting screws for my system, because I can't seem to find the ones that I took out? The answer usually, depending on how old the system is no. If you have a system from 2009, sure, I might be able to come up with a couple screws. If you have a system from, say, 1966, no, I don't have any screws for it. Then you got to go down to the hardware store, try to find some screws of the right size, and it's a pain in the neck. So put the screws back in the brackets. That's the secret. And then you can just tuck the connector out of the way like this. All of this is perfectly safe as it is right here. All of the wiring on this side is low voltage. It's the wires that go to the remote stations. It's a stubborn little thing here. Stay in there. Yeah, like that. This socket up here, this is the power socket. This is 110 or 120 in today's world. This is the same as a wall plug where you plug a lamp into in the living room. So you don't want to be sticking things in there. It's perfectly safe as it is. If it makes you feel better, you can take a little piece of tape and put it over the front of it to cover up the holes, and then you don't have to worry about it. If you have pesky grandchildren and they like to come over and when you're not looking, they like to stick paper clips in things, maybe you should cover it up. Now that you've got the set taken out and you've been extra careful of the brown plastic faceplate and you haven't broken it yet, there's something else that you may need to do. If you took this out because you're going to send it off for repair, say to me maybe, what I want you to do is I want you to take it apart a little bit. And this is not complicated and it's not difficult. I'm going to show you what to do. The reason I wanted to have you take it apart is because you cannot ship the unit complete like this. If you ship this complete with the fragile brown plastic faceplate attached to it, or the eggshell one if that's what you have, I will absolutely guarantee you that the faceplate will get broken during shipping. It's an inevitability. It's not a question of maybe, it's that it definitely will. And we can't risk that because if you have a really nice unit, we don't want it to get broken. So we'll take it apart just a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the knobs off the front. And this is actually very simple. What you need is you need a little plastic bag like this or a Ziploc or something to put the knobs in so they don't get lost. Because remember, if you call me for screws, the answer is going to be probably no. If you call me for knobs, the answer is absolutely, definitely, 100% no. Because I don't have extra knobs for these. These are rare models in today's world, and extra knobs just don't really happen along very often. So we'll start down here with the listen lever switch right here. Goes up and down. And all you have to do is grab the little plastic knob on the end, and it slides right off. And what we're going to do immediately, we're going to put it in the bag. Because if you don't put it in the bag immediately, what's going to happen? You're going to lose it. It's going to fall off the table, roll across the kitchen floor, go down the heat vent, and then you'll never find it. So put it in a plastic bag, do it right then. Then you have the volume knob. This is a two-piece knob. So you grab the front half and you pull forward and it'll slide off like that. And where does that go? That goes in the plastic bag. And then you have the little tone knob, which is a little trickier because it's kind of skinny and hard to hold on to or pull on. Looks kind of like this. And where does that go? That goes in the plastic bag as well. Then we have the master speaker volume. We'll take that off, put that in the bag. And then we have the selector knob. We'll pull that and that comes off. All of these knobs are indexed, which means on the back side, it's round with a flat side. And on the shaft where it fits, it's round and a flat side. So you can't put it on wrong. You just line up the flat sides, push it on, and you're done. It's easy. Where does that go? That also goes with all its cousins in the bag. And then we have the AM and FM tuning knobs, and likewise, you pull these off. Same type of design, round with a flat spot, round with a flat spot. Doesn't matter which one you put there, they're both the same size. And those go in the bag as well. Now, you take the bag, you seal it up nicely, and you put it somewhere safe where you're going to remember, you're not going to lose it, grandkids aren't going to throw it in the trash or anything like that. Maybe your dresser drawer where you keep your wallet and your watch and other important things like that, so it doesn't get lost. Now we're almost done. We have one more thing to do. Now we're looking down at the back side of the set, and what do we have? So we have a chassis assembly here. All of this is the chassis. And we have a speaker cone. What our goal here is we're going to remove the chassis from the brown plastic faceplate, so you can send me this and you can keep the brown plastic faceplate at your house because I don't want it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect 2 wires from the speaker that come from the chassis. Before you do this, what I recommend that people do is take your phone, take some pictures. Take a picture of this. This is a close-up of the speaker cone. Here we have a black wire on one little screw and a green wire on the other little screw. Take a picture with your phone. If you don't have a phone or you don't know how to take a picture or whatever, take a piece of paper, make a little drawing with a rectangular for the terminal block, make one little screw and another little screw and put black wire and green wire. Do something to remind yourself of why you're doing this, because when you go to hook it back up, you need to hook it up the right way. Now, the black wire is shorter than the green wire because the black wire goes on the screw that's closest to the chassis, and the green wire is longer so it fits on the one that's further away. So that seems kind of obvious to me, but it may not be to you. So mark it, take a picture, make a drawing, do something. Because if you call me, I'll tell you, but you should do it yourself if you can. I also said you're only going to need a Phillips screwdriver. Apparently I was mistaken because you're going to need a regular flathead screwdriver. Also, because all the screws on the back are slotted screws. So all you have to do is loosen the screw about 1.5 turns. Do not take the screw out all the way, because if you do, what's going to happen? You're going to drop it, it's going to roll across the floor, fall down the heat duct, and then you're going to lose it. And finding little tiny screws for speakers like this is really, really hard to do. Not a hardware store item, so what are you going to do? You're going to call me and I'm going to have to find one for you. So once you loosen the screws, take the wires off, and that part is done. We're not doing anything with the speaker. It's screwed to the back of the brown plastic faceplate, and that's where it's going to stay. All right, now we're going to take out the 4 screws that hold the chassis to the back of the brown plastic faceplate. Let me find something good to point with. We'll use this. See, it's got a red end on it. So there's 1 screw right here. There's another screw down here at the bottom. And there's 2 screws on this side. And all you have to do is take your slotted screwdriver. In fact, I'll tell you what, let me zoom in and show you. So here we're looking at the first screw. It's on the same side as the speaker cone. Here's the speaker cone right here, and also the white nylon plug that you unplugged from the switch box when you removed it from the wall housing. So all you have to do is take your screwdriver, loosen the screw. These are machine screws, which means they have fine threads on them, and it unscrews from the little metal insert that's down inside the plastic. And there's our first screw. Now, you have a choice as to what to do with these screws. I'm going to give you 3 options. 1, you can put them in a plastic bag all by itself. 2, you can put them in the plastic bag with the knobs. Or 3, you can put them back into the little inserts on the back of the brown plastic faceplate once you take the chassis out. My best option is you put them in with the knobs. That way they can all keep each other company. All right, now we're looking at screw number 2 right here. This is on the top of the chassis, and we do the same thing. We unscrew it, and I'm going to be real risky here. I'm not going to put it in the bag yet because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to lose it. There's the screw. I'm going to put it over here on the mat until I get the other 2 out. Then I'm going to put them in the bag all at once. All right, last 2 screws. This would be on the right-hand side of the chassis. So right here is screw number 3, and right down here is screw number 4. Pretty tricky, they put 2 on the same side. So we'll do the same thing. We'll unscrew this one, I'm going to put it over on the mat with number 2. We'll do number 4. And we'll put that over on the map. Now, if you've talked to me because you have a model like this and you're planning on sending it, and I've sent you this video because I want you to uninstall it, do it safely without breaking it, and all of the things that I need you to do before you send it, in that email will be pictures of where the screws are with big giant arrows, I think they're blue, pointing at the screws and explaining what to do. So that's sort of backup information to make it easier for you, because sometimes people like to see like a nice clear pictures with arrows. Makes it easier for them. All right, as promised, here are screws 2, 3, and 4, and they're going to go in the bag with the knobs like this. Going to zip lock it closed. You're going to put it in your top dresser drawer with your wallet, your watch, and your keys, and that way when you get the set back, you'll know what to do and where they are. Now that we've unscrewed the chassis, we've removed the knobs, and we disconnected the 2 little wires from the speaker, all you have to do is to grab the chassis and lift it straight up, and out it comes. That's it. This part, the plastic faceplate with only a speaker left on it, that's still not broken and in excellent, outstanding condition. This needs to be wrapped up and put away somewhere that's safe and secure, and nobody's going to drop a telephone book on top of it. It's not going to get knocked off the shelf in the hallway coat closet and land on the tile floor and get broken. It's going to go somewhere safe and secure. Again, I'm going to recommend you wrap it up in a nice towel and you take it into your master bedroom closet and you put it way up on top of the box that has that really expensive cowboy hat that you bought all the way back in 1979 that you were going to wear every day, but you never really did. Someplace like that so you know where it is. Don't screw it back on the wall to cover up the opening. You risk breaking the little holes that the screws hold it on. Put it in the closet and just have a hole on the wall for just a little while your set is being fixed. You can always tape a picture that the grandkids made of dinosaurs and things over the hole if that makes you feel better. Okay, so the faceplate has been wrapped up and put away safely. The knobs are in the top dresser drawer with your wallet, watch, and keys. And what you have left is the chassis. This is the part that I want. If you're going to send this to me for repair, this is what I care about. This is a very sturdy unit. However, on the back of it is the main and only circuit board, which, considering that it was made in 1966 or 1967, can be moderately fragile. So when you follow our packaging instructions that we have emailed to you, and you're going to take this and place it in a nice plastic bag first, and then you're going to wrap it up in a whole bunch of bubble wrap. You know, all that free bubble wrap you got from Amazon Prime for all those things that you bought? You're going to wrap it up and you're going to make a really nice big bubble wrap cocoon around it, especially on the back side, because you have to protect the circuit board. You know all those times that you get UPS boxes and they have a big old boot print on it? Well, that's when the UPS guy stood on the box. And what you don't want is you don't want him standing on the box that has your 2067 chassis in it and cracking the circuit board, because that would be bad. So wrap it up, make the big bubble wrap cocoon around it, find a nice sized box, a little bigger than the unit, give it a little bit of extra space, pack it in securely, fill it up with shipping peanuts or whatever you have to hold it in place securely and protect it, and send it off to us and we'll fix it. I hope you found this interesting, and perhaps for someone it will be helpful. If it is, give it a thumbs up on YouTube, because that helps us just a little bit. There'll be a banner right here that shows you how to subscribe. Go to our YouTube homepage, click on the bell, and when you click on the bell, click on it to receive all notifications, and every time we post a new video, you'll get a notification and you can watch it. That's all for today. See you on the next video.